I never understand when people complain about celebrities saying it's like ruining the business or exposing the business. Like, did you not watch WrestleMania 1? The main event had Mr. T in it. Like, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? There's been celebrities. There's always been celebrities. It's an attraction. There's always been celebrities. Drew
Oh,
Carey was in the Royal Rumble. Come on. There's
but
always been
I will say this
celebrities.
though, Vince didn't like having them. Remember, Vince didn't want. He was like, my talent, they're the celebrities. I don't need extra celebrities. I'll never forget my last WrestleMania during my first run was in Orlando, and it was the one where we paid Kim Kardashian $25,000
Woo.
to show up and announce the attendance. And I remember sitting at ringside, and she had to bring out a card because she couldn't remember the number. And I remember saying to myself, going, what is Vince thinking in my ear right now? As she says, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new Citrus Bowl record of 68,275. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I just started just roaring because part of whether you like Vince or you don't like Vince, he's a character. And there's certain things that just pissed him off. And I can only imagine something like that with Snoop Dogg in the very next trailer at the same show, that it just drove him nuts. But that was kind of the beauty of the WWE that you and I grew up in.
Absolutely. I mean, WWE, like I said, like the good, the bad, the highs, the lows. I'm so grateful for that time. It set me up for what's going on now. And like I just look at it with fond memories. Of course, like I could discuss sometimes, oh, maybe that wasn't the best, right? But I don't want to harp on that. I don't want to be negative and I just never wanted to be one of those guys. I saw it, like I said, in so many shoot interviews and like hearing so many legends talking and bitch. I'm like, ugh, I want to be the opposite of that, you know?
I want to be a guy that at the end of the day, I still have what I feel is 25 or 30 years left on camera doing content, whatever that content looks like. And I never thought, Matt, that I'd be doing shows, podcasts, network shows, and then also working with PFL and ESPN. Like all this stuff, you never, ever know. But now as we start to move forward and you see all the stuff in the business that has changed, specifically Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, I don't think anybody could have imagined 10 years ago the way it happened with CM Punk, that 10 years later, that he would be a main event star with the WWE. How surprised were you with those two things in particular, going from AEW back to WWE?
Man, the Cody thing was super interesting because for the first time, I think in wrestling history, he came with the total package, his music, you know, because when he left, he was independent first, created his own music, his own look, his own logos, and owned all that. So he had it in AEW, and then when he jumped to WWE, it was all exactly the same exact logo, same exact song. It was like, wow, like when you really think about it, it's never ever been done. There's always a little change to the song, a little change to the name, change to the look. He was the first guy to ever do it. And then CM Punk coming back, I mean, man, I did not see that coming, but look what it's done for the business. Look at the numbers, look at his merch sales. It's incredible. And now that he's finally getting a WrestleMania main event, like I bet he probably didn't even think it was ever going to happen. And that, like anything could happen in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Right, anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. Anything can happen in pro wrestling. It truly can. It's like there's no rules, there's no formula, there's nothing to follow because everyone has a different path. You know, I try to tell these guys in the independents, like, just because I'm telling you this, don't listen to everything I'm saying, right? Because everyone has a different journey. Like, I can get a phone call tomorrow to go somewhere.
Changes.
Anything changes. That's the beauty of pro wrestling, is that like nobody's stuck in that spot, good or bad. You're not gonna be at the top forever. You're not gonna be at the bottom forever. It could always change.
I will say this, that the way that CM Punk is a unicorn is that any young talent that's ever talked to me, I'm like, do not leave scorched earth behind you.
Right.
Because you never know when that person is going to call you, or because it's happened to me a few times, not that I had scorched earth, but that a person called me that I hadn't talked to in 2 or 3 years. Hey, we've got an opening for this or for that. Now, he did leave scorched earth, and he still was able to come back. But I said this, that Vince always lived under the moniker, if it makes money, it makes sense.
Sure.
And Stone Cold walked away 5 times. I don't know if you remember this or not. We were supposed to wrestle on a pay-per-view.
I remember.
And he didn't show up because he felt like it was below him. Now, it was below him. Let's be honest about that. But I missed out on a payday, but I haven't, I've moved on from that. But that's how serious a guy like Stone Cold took the business back then, is that he was like, if it's below me, then I'm not going to do it. But Vince always allowed him to come back because Stone Cold made money and it made
Absolutely.
sense, right?
Yes. I mean, to this day, you sell a Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirt, probably gonna outsell most of the roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, he definitely makes no sense, you know?